Doctor, it's good to have you on. Thank you for being here with us. First, give us your thoughts on Trump taking Dexamethasone. Do you reckon the president is sicker than his doctors are letting on?
I think it's difficult to know his exact medical status. We know that he's taking a number of medicines earlier than are typically offered to patients. Partially that is due to his access and due to the fact that he is the president of the United States. It made sense to me that he was taking remdesivir early. They chose to apply an antibody therapy early, which is still experimental, but there's reasons to take that. The steroid was a little surprising to me because normally that is given much later in the disease, and the purpose of that is to tamp down on the immune system. I don't want to second guess his doctors. Their assumption here is to give him as many medicines as possible, but there is a risk that that is suppressing the immune system early on in the disease. I think just given the timing of how quickly he became sick, there just isn't enough time for him to have reached the normal point where one would normally give that steroid. So I think this is a decision by the doctors to try to hit him with everything they can early. I don't think this is necessarily gives us rise to believe that he's much worse off than they're letting on.
All right. Well, the U.S. is one of many countries racing to get a vaccine safely produced and distributed. One of the challenges with viruses is how quickly they mutate, making illnesses very difficult to treat. How is a COVID-19 vaccine likely to work?
So again, the vaccine studies are completing their phase 2s and they're entering phase 3s. The studies so far have suggested that the vaccines that have been tested so far are producing good, strong antibody responses in the individuals. And so we can be cautiously optimistic that that trend will continue. We know that antibodies appear to be effective in animals and in humans. So I suspect our vaccines will be effective. We are still waiting to see, are there side effects in the much larger studies?
Were you concerned when you saw him leave the hospital and go meet his supporters?
So I don't know the internal structure of that vehicle. Perhaps there was a separation between the president and the other individuals for security and the driver. It would be my recommendation, and that is doctors' recommendations everywhere, that for folks who are sick, they should be in isolation, because when you are feeling symptoms is when you are the most infectious. So the recommendation would be to maintain isolation during that period.
All right, Dr. Glanville, we appreciate you coming on the show. Thanks for that.